Alright, see you guys next video.
When the critic becomes the one being criticized, how would it affect their public perception? And more importantly, how do they handle the inevitable backlash? Creators like Marquise Brownlee, aka MKBHD, have been asking these same questions, as a series of unfortunate decisions have eroded his reputation to the point that his fans label him as just another out-of-touch influencer. And
wait, he speeded in the school zone. Okay, wait. I gotta do something real quick, chat. Give me a sec. Alright, we're back.
Mock him in the comments. Got here faster than Marquise driving. 2024 really picked up speed towards the end, huh? Props to Marquise for not pulling a Mr. Beast and deleting all the comments making fun of him. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll explore the recent controversies driving a wedge between YouTube legend MKBHD and his once loyal fanbase. To understand why Marquise's relationship with his
he used to be loved. He used to be like one of the most respected YouTubers, bro. Now people think so love him just because he's speedy, bro.
Audience deteriorated so much, you first have to understand what their connection was built on in the first place. During his early days on YouTube, Marquise's content was defined by 3 key ideals: quality, consistency, and transparency. In terms of quality, Marquise always strived to improve the watchability and clarity of his content, from gradually upgrading the visual and audio of his video to giving increasingly in-depth analysis of the products he was reviewing. Marquise wanted to make each video better than the last.
We'll get to those in a second, but initially picking up this phone and holding it is a pretty nice experience, which is pretty obvious. It's an all-metal unibody aluminum back design, which kind of wraps around to the front. It's definitely not the thinnest phone in the world, and it's also definitely not the lightest phone in the world either, but it feels rather sturdily built, and that's always a good thing.
Pair this with the fact that Marquise maintained an extremely consistent upload schedule for over a decade, and it becomes very obvious why he's grown to almost 20 million subscribers. This pattern of consistency was present from the start of Marquise's career, as he uploaded over 200 videos in his first year on YouTube. However, what truly puts Marquise at the top of consumer tech reviews is his unusual level
Bro, that's his old self? That's crazy. He actually changed a lot.
Of transparency when covering products or handling sponsorships. When it comes to consumer tech reviews on YouTube, viewers typically gravitate towards creators who are completely honest about a product's quality and functionality. In Marquise's case, he'd built such a strong reputation for unbiased coverage that fans naturally regarded his opinion very highly. A good example of this was with the infamous Escobar Fold phone, whose negative qualities were glossed over by other tech reviewers, but faced a more critical perspective from MKBHD.
I'm a tech reviewer, so I'm typically just focusing on the final product, the finished thing. Should you buy it or not? But this piece of tech we've reviewed already. It's the Galaxy Fold. I've talked about it. It just has gold tinfoil on the back. So the interesting part now becomes the behind the scenes part, which is the company that's trying to maybe sell some of them and also not ship most of them. They're trying to scam you. It's one of those situations where you know you have to take any preferential treatment you...
Oh, so he would always tell the truth. My bad for misstuttering.
Might get with a gigantic grain of salt. So I guess the lesson we've learned is there are way too many cases of people not getting their Escobar Fold for me to ever recommend you ever buy anything from this company. So
unfortunately, Marquise's critical stance and the impact that comes with it aren't always popular with viewers. In early 2024, Marquise's extremely negative coverage of the Fisker Ocean and Humane AI pin landed him in hot water with fans, because both companies suffered significant financial losses following his videos. With Fisker Ocean,
wait, why did I do that? Bro, there's no way. They lost money because of his video. That's how you know he has like a huge impact on people, bro.
And Marquise labelled it as the worst car he had ever tested and focused his review on the vehicle's incomplete state at the time, rather than the manufacturer's promises of future updates.
I think it's just the worst car I've ever tested, but probably not in the ways you're expecting. So this car behind me here, this is the Fisker Ocean. You might not have heard of it. Pretty new car, pretty new company, new name anyway. And there were a lot of red flags actually going into this, just the couple of days I'm spending with it. Didn't want us to review this one because there's a really big software update, a big 2.0 update coming to this car. And I believe you, Fisker, but that's the thing is it's not really in my policy to wait on promised future software updates. I'm gonna review the car that's out now, that real buyers are actually living with.
While Marquise appreciated the car's design philosophy, he highlighted obvious bugs in its software, infotainment features, and build quality. Ultimately, he concluded that the car needs much more improvement before being considered as a finished product.
That's the thing about these electric cars is they're connected to the internet, they're computers on wheels, they can improve over time. I feel like it's gonna take a long time for this car to be acceptably usable given how many issues I've had.
Damn, he really shit on this car, bro.
With it, but I'm rooting for it only because competition is good and the fundamentals are solid.
Even though Marquise wasn't the only one to review the Fisker Ocean negatively, fans of the startup considered his take too negative and blamed him for the company's stock price going down. Some vehicle owners even made whole videos discussing Marquise's coverage and their own hands-on experience with the vehicle.
First offering, right? There are market pressures to get the vehicles out, and this vehicle was delivered with an incomplete software stack that we see improving here over time. The last 3 months as an owner, I can attest to seeing improvement not just in the software, but also in terms of delivery, as well as service and support, as I just shared a little bit about my own experience.
In the comments section, Marquise left a brief statement on his thoughts about the EV and its potential for improvements, reading, "Thank you for this owner's perspective. I'm hoping you're right about the continued rate of improvement, because I think it certainly needs it. I do still honestly find it borderline irresponsible to release a vehicle so incomplete that it feels like owners are beta testing, but that's just my own opinion." As for the human AI pin, Marquise called the wearable AI assistant the worst product he'd reviewed.
What? The worst product he ever reviewed is crazy work, bro. You know that shit's gonna go bankrupt because of that, though.
All its features could be done quicker, easier, and more efficiently on a smartphone.
You know, I've said like a bunch of the downsides and the problems this device has, but I really genuinely think the biggest problem this pin is going to have is that smartphones are kind of OP. Like, that's the number one thing I've reminded myself from the week of using this pin, trying to get it to do stuff, is that smartphones are not going anywhere. Everything that this pin does, a modern smartphone does better and faster and easier and in higher quality and just better in every way.
While the video was well received by his fans on YouTube, multiple users on Twitter began criticizing Marquise for potentially harming the startup's potential with his harsh coverage, reading, "I find it distasteful, almost unethical, to say this when you have 18 million subscribers. Hard to explain why, but with great reach comes great responsibility. Potentially killing someone else's nascent project reeks of carelessness. First, do no harm." To which Marquise would respond with, "We disagree on what my job is." Despite all of this, management at Humane AI saw Marquise's critical take.
Yeah, that's his job, bro. He has to like review it honestly. I don't think he did a bad thing. I just think it's crazy, like how much of an impact he has.
As a learning experience. By the 17th of April 2024, Marquise would upload a video responding to both situations and present the viewers with the question of whether or not bad reviews kill companies.
Discourse lately on this topic, there will be, some negative reviews, and then a company will eventually go out of business, and then the internet poses the question, do bad reviews kill companies? Do bad reviews kill companies? Or
I think it depends on how big the company is. Like, I don't care. Like, I think 5 million people or like 10 million people, or actually, no, just MKBHD. That's his name, right? Marquise Brownlee, bad. If he put a bad review on Apple, I don't think it would kill the company. I think it's too big for it to go down just based off him. I think it has to be like multiple years or multiple products where he puts really bad reviews on, and then you might see a downhill incline on it. But I don't think it actually kills them. It only kills them if they're starter companies.
do bad products kill companies? I do have a lot of thoughts.
Marquise
Wait, that's facts though. It's not the bad reviews. It's the bad product.
would make the argument that the validity of a review solely depends on how honest the reviewer is when conveying their experience with the product, regardless of whether it's good or bad.
Back up for a second. What is a review? A little pet peeve of mine is I think people misuse or overuse that word a lot, but a review is just somebody uses the product and then just delivers their impressions on whether they think it's any good or not, how well it actually worked, and if their honest opinion is if it's good, then that's the review. If it's bad, that's the review. That's basically it. But the thing about reviews is if they're not honest, then they're basically useless.
To illustrate his point, Marquise would share an example of when his harsh but honest feedback on a Razer gaming phone positively impacted the company's future releases.
And I remember the vibration motor was horrible, and I remember calling it out. I remember saying this.
Also, the vibration motor in this phone, trash. Straight trash. I'm gonna call myself so you can hear this. Phone.
Just one of the worst vibration
That was some crazy vibration back.
motors I've ever experienced in a new phone. Fast forward a year.
Yo, imagine a bitch, your mom's calling you with the bitch, but and she just hears that shit.
Right? I'm at a briefing. It's in New York City. It's for the Razer Phone 2. The guy turns to me and he says, "And Marquez, you gotta try the new vibration motor in this phone." And it's such a niche thing, but sure enough, I try it, and it's way better.
In addition to this, Marquise would point out how both Humane and Fisker were already being poorly reviewed by other tech channels long before his coverage. He even stated that if everyone was honestly reviewing the same product, then everyone's experiences should be similar.
I was not the only one to review the car, not even close. And so yes, the stock price did drop after my video, but the stock was in free
Yo, 98% drop is crazy.
fall for many, many months before my video too. And if you zoom out on YouTube or in the car review space in general, I was far from the only person saying these things about the car for all of these months. Many other reviewers had been having a plethora of issues, even stuff that I didn't have with this thing. Actually, I feel like that might be the easiest way to tell if a review is honest or not. Like, we're all reviewing the same product, basically. If we all have the same thing, so we're all going to find a lot of the same things. We're all eventually going to have a lot of the same upsides, downsides. If there are issues, they may eventually surface. So yeah,
The current state of both startups not only shows the impact of unbiased criticism when looking at a product, but also its necessity. YouTube reviewers are sometimes the first place potential customers learn about a product and decide whether to spend their hard-earned money on it. While creators like Marquise seemed comfortable dishing out harsh reviews, he was about to get a taste of what it's like to be on the receiving end of a bad product launch. By the 24th of September 2024, Marquise
That might be karma, low-key.
published a tweet announcing the release of his new wallpaper app, Panels. "I'm so pumped to be launching this app. People have asked where I get wallpapers forever. So
This shit, I heard it's like the biggest scam ever.
this is the answer. now and forever panels. At first, fans were very optimistic about the application, since Marquise claimed it would feature handpicked art from other online creators. However, when digital art is involved, there's always the possibility of it being AI generated, and users weren't shy about expressing their concerns. Reading, "It feels a little late now, doesn't it? What's stopping me from asking AI to create a unique, high-quality wallpaper that no one else will have? I'm leaving the door open for you to prove me wrong. I hope to see a YouTube video showcasing your app, proving me, the skeptic, wrong." In response, Marquise would write, "These are all made by artists who can choose to involve AI or not in their creation process. It'll be up to you how much you value the human touch." Over on YouTube, Marquise shared a few extra details about panels that would hopefully paint a clearer picture of what the application does, how much it costs, and how it will be improved in future updates.
You guys have always been asking me where I get my wallpapers. Like, it's frequently the #1 suggested search result under my name, has been for years, so now we've put them all in one place. It's called Panels, and it's finally live in the App Store, both on iOS and on Android. Feels really good to be able to say that. So if you're wondering where the wallpaper on these phones in the review came from, Panels. If you're wondering where the wallpaper in the last video came from, Panels. Matter of fact, almost all of the wallpapers on the devices and in backgrounds you've seen in my videos for the past year have all come from Panels, which is pretty sick. And
Wait, but like, didn't the app like not exist before? So how did he get like the wallpapers?
we have some pretty big plans for this thing. So it's starting off as a wallpaper app now. I don't want to overpromise too much, but it's going to be pretty consistently improving over time, which is part of the reason why we're offering a subscription to support it. So go pick it up now.
While Panels seems like a good step forwards for the MKBHD brand, fans hated the idea of paying $50 a year for smartphone wallpapers, no matter how good the art was. With comments reading, "No one's paying $50 a year for a regular wallpaper app."
Yeah, oh god, bro. This guy's speaking facts right here.
Little bro. MKBHD graduated from the Apple School of Pricing. MKBHD, never buy something for the promise of something it will do later. Also MKBHD, my app will have a lot of better things to come, so go get it now. Overall, it seems like the controversy around Panels was born out of both its incomplete state and high price tag. This gave fans the impression that Marquise wasn't putting any real effort into the app and was releasing it solely for profit. Fortunately, Marquise recognized his mistake and attempted to set the record straight with a video titled "Let's Talk About Panels."
I made a lot of mistakes along the way, including the fact that I didn't really explain anything. I didn't explain the UI, what was in it, the point of the app, and most importantly, why it had a friggin' $50 price tier. And so appropriately, the entire internet was very disappointed, and that's 100% on me.
After reiterating his reasoning behind creating Panels, Marquise would recognize and address the issues with the app's initial pricing model, privacy concerns, and design. Even though Marquise promised better updates to the app's design, wallpaper offering, and functionality, he wanted people to download Panels for what it is today.
Thing I keep saying, which is never buy a product based on the promise of future software updates. Buy it for what it is today. And I'm never going to stop preaching that. That is still extremely true. But the irony is not lost on me that I've also made a lot of references and promises about the future of this app in this video. So I'll still say, if you want to grab a wallpaper or download this app and check it out, get it for what it is today.
Thankfully, viewers were equally as optimistic about Panels and felt that Marquise had adequately addressed the issues with his product, with comments reading, "Masterclass in handling criticism and an apology. Messed up?
Yeah.
Check. Accepted his mistake? Check. Apologized without excuses? Check. Reduced 85% of the costs? Check. Made it better? Check. I don't think he deserves any more hate after this. And he messed up and he realized it. You have to respect him." While
Yeah, I think it was a good, like, I think he saved himself from falling off from that, but let's see what happened next. I think
Marquise's apology over Panels would go down as one of the best in influencer history. He'd soon be forced to make another one following some extremely reckless activities on camera. On the 12th of November 2024, Marquise uploaded a video titled "How My Video Gear Is Changing," in which he was promoting an action camera that was sponsoring his channel. While the video was controversial for being an entirely sponsored video for another GoPro type
Wait,
company,
yeah. He said Doesn't he not like do sponsors?
Being packaged as a genuine video about his gear changing, that wouldn't be what made this video so infamous. Around 7 minutes in, Marquise would showcase a clip of him accelerating a Lamborghini to over 96 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone.
It's crazy. Oh shit.
Although Marquise would eventually cut out that clip due to criticism, the damage was already done, as the video would receive over 120,000 dislikes and a furious comment section reading, "Editing out the crime does not make it disappear. The second time being flamed by the comments in 1 year? Damn, it's getting serious."
Yeah,
as well
God.
as 96 miles per hour in a school zone? Dude, what the hell? To quell the backlash, Marquise would release an apology on Twitter that read, "There was a clip with the action cam of me test driving a car and going way too fast. Absolutely inexcusable and dangerous. I've since cut it out of the video with YouTube's editor tool. I understand that this looks like covering it up, but I think it's the right thing to do. There's no reason to leave that clip in, and I would never want to make it seem okay by leaving it in the video.
Yeah,
I'm well
because
aware of
if
this."
he left it in, you don't want people to see that. Oh, my favorite YouTuber. Oh, he's speeding. Oh, it's okay to speed. Like, you don't want people.
Streisand effect, and I know everything on the internet lives forever, but I think that's the best decision right now. All I can do, apologize, and promise never to do anything close to that stupid again. That's a terrible example to set, and I'm sorry for it. As you might imagine, the response to Marquise's apology was heavily polarized. On one hand, people accepted his apology since he didn't hurt anyone, and the clip was removed. On the other hand, users flamed him for even filming the act of reckless driving. While both sides had their merits, the truth is that Marquise holds himself to a very high standard of credibility, which makes things especially heated whenever he makes a misstep. In the week after the incident, experts like Legal Eagle would weigh in on the situation and analyze its severity.
Now, MKBHD films most of his videos in New Jersey, so let's assume that New Jersey traffic laws apply. First up would be the speeding violation. It looks as if he's driving in a suburban area. Under New Jersey law, it is, quote, prima facie lawful for a driver to drive 35 miles per hour in any suburban business or residential district. That means it's illegal to go above 35 miles an hour in those zones, though, and if he was in a school zone, or children were clearly visible in the roadway, or when children are going to or leaving school, the limit is 25 miles per hour. This chart shows how
is bro just gonna sue him?
it works. So if a person was driving 30 miles or more over the speed limit, it's a 5-point speeding violation and 5 points on a license.
Sadly, this wasn't Marquise's first traffic offense, as he'd been pulled over several times before.
He will learn from it, hopefully in the sense that he won't film his crimes, but also in the sense that he won't do them in the future. But we live in a car-centric world, so it's easy to fetishize those cars and forget that there are real people who can be hurt by a 3-ton box of steel hurtling down the road at 100 miles per hour. And MKBHD might want to consider shifting his mindset to a more human-centered world.
While Marquise hadn't faced legal penalties for his most recent traffic violation, it was still a very real possibility.
Now, the biggest question that people had, apart from why would you drive 60 miles an hour above the speed limit, is can MKBHD get in trouble from the video that he posted? Especially now that he has deleted the video clip in question. Now, I can't believe I have to say this, but don't put videos of your crime on social media because yes, the police might find them and use the videos to prove that you committed those crimes.
Although there weren't any legal consequences, there were undoubtedly social ones, as fans constantly reminded Marquise of his mistakes in every subsequent upload, with comments reading, "Can you generate a video of you not driving over the speed limit? Or is that impossible even for AI? Can't wait for the AI generated video of MKBHD addressing his reckless driving," as well as
Bro, damn, they switch up so fast. His community switches up so fast. They were like, "Oh yeah, you saved yourself. That was like a good excuse. He did something wrong. Now it's okay." And now they're just roasting him again, bro.
As bro needs to drop a video on radar detectors, going 59 in a 25 is crazy. Eventually, Marquise would address all of his controversies in a video recapping his creative and personal journey in 2024.
Viewed the Fisker Ocean on the autofocus channel as the worst car I've ever tested, which then proceeded to blow up. I was far from the first person to say negative things about this car, but for a number of different reasons, this one hit a little different. And I mean, I was accused of sabotaging the company's stock price on purpose, killing the company as a whole, none of which are really true. I also don't care about the stock prices of these companies, but we learned some lessons about negative reviews and bad products and the relationship that they have.
Regarding his coverage of other products, like the Humane AI pin, Marquise would reflect on the massive impact of negative reviews on a product, and the equally critical response it could elicit from fans.
I reviewed the Humane pin and the Rabbit R1, two standalone AI products that just clearly came up way short of their promises, and still do to an extent, but this reignited the conversation about negative
Love games, but hate the grind? With Wiimote, you can be invincible, unimaginably wealthy,
product reviews. No pun intended about Ignited, but it felt like everyone on the internet had something to
Wait, that's actually sick. That shit is that like, it's like putting that shit on your hand and stuff, bro.
say about it this time. People weighing in on the side of consumers, also on the side of product makers. I still stand by everything I said in those reviews, but what I mostly learned was the power that these reviews actually have.
When it came to his own products being harshly reviewed,
Yeah, like, he needs to understand, like, he's not like a little like YouTuber. He has 19 million subscribers. And he's one of the best reviewers. And I think he is still the best reviewer. But for him, he needs to also understand, maybe be a less critical. But then again, you see it from his point of view. He just wants to provide the best, like, review he can. So yeah.
Marquise acknowledged his shortcomings and recognized the irony of now being on the other side of criticism.
And then we launched Panels, our wallpaper app, to the world. This was something we'd worked on as a team in the background for the better part of a year, sourcing from artists, developing, designing everything, and then launching it with the review of the new iPhone. Unfortunately, that was a total misjudgment on my part. I spent way too much time, way more time on the product review than actually explaining the app itself, it needed its own explanation. So people didn't really understand. I didn't really properly explain the features or what it did, why it existed, or why it even had a premium price tier.
This openness to criticism carried over to his other mistakes, such as the recent speeding incident.
Then directly after, I released a DJI action cam video.
Let's see how he's gonna save this one, bro.
About using these action cams. It was sponsored, but I wanted to use this opportunity to address the bigger issue from that whole experience, which was the driving clip, even though it's no longer in that video. So there was a clip in that video, since removed, of POV driving a Lamborghini and accelerating to over 90 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. It's just stupid and dangerous. Not just for the actual act, which is stupid and dangerous, but also for the potential precedent that it could set, because like we've said.
In addition, Marquise gave some extra context to the situation.
So earlier in November, another YouTuber, who will remain nameless, invited me out to test drive a car. And I said, okay, yeah, sounds fun. We went out, and the way these work is that the salesperson sort of takes you out on a pre-designated test drive route. It was outside of New Jersey. I didn't know the space very well, so I just followed their lead. They sort of show you where to go, and we went out and then came back. So I had the action cam with me, as I had for the past couple weeks, as I'd shot clips here and there around just on how it could be used to shoot anything anywhere. So on the way back, I was like, oh, okay, I'll shoot a clip of a few seconds of driving, because this could be used to
So he was basically unfamiliar with the zone and didn't know it was, I guess,
shoot driving shots.
He also noted how he set a bad example for his viewers and other creators who looked up to him.
I learned several valuable lessons here. Making mistakes and genuinely learning from them and changing. I think that's a super important thing to just have as a human. And then also as the responsibility that I have as a very visible creator, and that people look up to what I do and what we make as a team. So clearly everything deserves an extra layer of diligence.
At the end of the video, Marquise recognized the privilege and responsibility that came with running such a large channel.
So 2024 was a crazy year, and I learned a lot of lessons, and I think what's maybe the most interesting is the one main lesson kind of came from both Ultimate Frisbee and this stuff here on YouTube, which is, and I had a coach say this and I never forget it, that pressure is a privilege. You don't necessarily get to make something and create something new and send it out to the internet and have anybody care about it. So the fact that we get to do that here is a privilege. And I don't want to forget that.
Yeah, it is a privilege.
Throughout his contribution,
Because, basically, it is a privilege because some people don't actually, like, have that much audience to even have, like, pressure on. To even get, like, pressure.
controversies in 2024, Marquise expresses two key traits that every creator could learn from: an ability to accept criticism and the willingness to fix their mistakes. Marquise's situation is evidence that being a creator will always come with some level of criticism, and it's the ability to bounce back from it that determines the longevity of one's career. A creator who did not bounce back from criticism was Nuz Daily. Click the video on screen to find.
Alright, that'd be video, guys.